Hi, and welcome to our executive interview series. Today, we have a very special guest with us here today, Phill Dance, the CEO of SmartMove. SmartMove is a revolutionary solution in the field of consumer contact details management. With a mission to simplify the process of updating contact information, SmartMove app aims to provide a seamless and efficient experience for both consumers and service providers. And we're excited to have Phill here with us today to talk about this innovative business. Welcome, Phill.
Thank you very much.
Amazing. Now, to start off, can you explain how SmartMove's automated consumer change notifications work and how they provide a smooth transition for individuals when they are updating their contact details?
Sure. So let me tell perhaps a little story about how all of that works. SmartMove is an app that we have built that will work on any smartphone or tablet. And it's about being able to select. One is keying in your details first, your correct, valid details, and it may be your name, your address, your date of birth, any of the information that you store with numerous service providers. Some of it you have all of the information, some of it you only have part. But certainly today your email address and your telephone number are important contact details.
Yeah.
So SmartMove is about contact details and being able to change those contact details with any of the service providers that provide you services in your everyday life.
Right.
For example, your banks, your telcos, your electricity supply, your water supply. Each of those service providers are people who you need to maintain correct contact details with.
Right.
For billing purposes, for changing where your services are provided to, by changing your telephone number, whatever it is as a consumer that you have to deal with the service providers. SmartMove is about making that simpler because at the moment a service provider provides their own solutions to you and you have to deal with each of their own disparate solutions. They all have different solutions, whether it be telephone. Now tell me, how long since you've called your bank?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
And how long did you hold on?
Oh, so
or
long.
Your telco.
Yeah, that's
It is a nightmare dealing with all of these systems. I myself changed my email service provider from one particular provider to another. And just changing people's, who I deal with, just changing my essential service providers, really essential ones, where I have to make sure that I have a valid email address and a valid telephone number so I can do two-pass authentication. It's a nightmare. I spent more than 4 days just doing the really essential ones. So for consumers, changing your details with anything up to 20 service providers, so that's every one of us has at least 20 service providers, changing the details with all of those is a big task. So for example, when you move, typically you change the ones you need to change and then you just hope the rest follow suit somehow. And it really is a nightmare. The issue for the service providers is the cost of doing this for them.
That's true.
It's extremely high. Maintaining a consumer database, imagine, for example, some of the frequent or loyalty programs, the cost to those people providing those programs of maintaining massive consumer databases, 2, 3, 4, 5 million users, an extremely expensive process. Well, SmartMove, we decided, and our founder was adamant that SmartMove would be free to the consumer. So you and I can get to change our details without any cost attached to it. And it makes it simple and easy to contact service providers. One step, we sign in to the app, which will work on any smartphone or tablet. So we can sign in, enter our details once, and by selecting our service providers, typically by selecting a logo because it's easy. We all know what the NAB logo looks like. We all know what the Qantas logo looks like. So we select the Qantas logo and automatically your details are sent to the service provider and are updated. They are able to update it automatically because the data arrives to them and we are quite able to transfer that data to them, having set up an API to integrate into their systems. So what is the monetization of SmartMove? How do we intend to make money? We believe that the service providers will be more than prepared to pay a click charge.
Right.
So for every updated address, we intend to charge them around at $1.90 per click.
Mm-hmm.
$1.90
Mm-hmm.
versus, for example, if they mail somebody the mail piece itself to produce the letter and then insert it in an envelope and mail it is at least $11.
Right.
I deal with one particular utility here in Australia, a water utility, people who provide water services.
Mm-hmm.
They mail 1,900 bills in an envelope per week.
Yeah.
They have 500 return to sender envelopes. Now imagine that means there's 500 people who haven't had their correct details, so the water utility couldn't bill them.
Absolutely.
Cash flow.
Yeah.
What it does to that company. Now the cost, so $11 of the mail piece going out. Australia Post charged $2.50 for a return to sender, a return to sender, $2.50. And I process the return to senders by opening them and entering the address again. And that's another $2.50.
Yeah.
So we're at $20.
Yeah.
So $1.90 for maintaining, so having the address or the new change details sent to you and automatically integrated into your own solutions. It's very inexpensive. Smart Move will be profitable at just 4% of the people who change their details annually.
Amazing.
4% of 5.86 million people.
Wow.
Of that 5.86 million, the Australian Bureau of Statistics tell us that about 3.8 million people move house every year.
Right.
People who rent usually change twice a year.
Yeah.
So that's 3 point whatever of the 5.86.
Yeah.
And at 4%, we're extremely profitable. And that's with only 10 service providers that they notify.
That's
the total market value to us, we estimate, with around 40 to 50% of an uptake eventually, is about $171 million per annum.
Whoa, nice.
That makes Smart Move a really smart investment.
Absolutely, I can see
and
that.
And remember, at 4.5% in the first year, we'll be profitable.
Yeah.
But we're seeking $2 million in funding.
Yeah.
The idea is that we've funded Smart Move up to now with all of the members. There are 11 members of the Smart Move company. By the way, each of those people has worked with me for up to 30 years. Each of those people have worked with me for up to 30 years. And we, in that company, managed 80% of Australia's essential mail. What is that? Well, that's the people who bill.
Right.
Or send you special notices that your licence is expired.
Yeah.
Or notices from the ATO. Or bills from Telstra. Or bills from Optus.
Yeah.
So we used to produce 80% of that communication that was going out to consumers. We also know how many don't make it.
Right.
So 80% of Australia's mail, anything up to 10% is returned to sender at a huge cost, as we've already discussed.
Yeah.
So the profitability of Smart Move will be there because for the service providers, a service click charge is far less expensive than the systems that they have for people to update their contact details.
Right, absolutely. We can actually see it from here on that why Smart Move is actually such a great investment opportunity for our investors. And that incredibly sounds convenient for all the consumers out there. Now, you have obviously talked about, what sets Smart Move apart, but could you elaborate further to talk about Smart Move's address matching approval system to the benefits to both consumers and service providers?
Okay, so when you enter your details into Smart Move, all of your information is maintained on your telephone, and the service providers are simply sent that data. And to send them that data, we need your account number and other details that authenticate you. There will automatically be a return message back to your phone, back to the Smart Move app, that says, is this you communicating with me? That's your two-pass authentication.
Right.
So that's one. Having set up all of that, though, and the requirement to obviously build that security of two-pass authentication, that also allows us to offer a new service, which is myself as a consumer, I can now say to Telstra or NAB I've just seen a new investment product, NAB. Can you please call me and I want to take up that service with you?
Yeah.
So now you're proactively getting the service provider to deal with you and they need to communicate with you.
Right.
That is going to provide additional business. So that is now business to consumer and consumer to business. So it's a two-way street.
Yes.
So the future for SmartMove is extremely bright as we add further consumer to business interactions.
Amazing. That's brilliant. Now, there's a very clever approach to monetization. We've already spoken about that. But would you like to add anything, like specifically regarding the cost savings, anything you would like to highlight on that?
Sure. I think SmartMove is a great investment for any one of what we would consider probably up to 20 of the major service providers. By those, I mean the largest service providers with the largest number of consumers in their database. For those particular investors or for those service providers, if you have a look at our funding detail, you see that in year one we've allocated $600,000 for the integration that needs to be done to a service provider.
Right.
Think of this for a moment. So an investor in SmartMove could invest $2 million, for example, and take a very good share of SmartMove's equity, but in return get a $600,000 reinvestment back in providing IT services at a moment that are costing them far more than what the SmartMove process will. So I think it's a very unique investment opportunity, probably a lot different than what's out there. $2 million invested with $600,000 straight back.
We can see how it makes it such a unique investment as well. Now the growth opportunities are definitely very promising. So for potential investors, what would you say is the value proposition of SmartMove and how do you envision the company's growth and potential returns in the long term?
Sure. Well, we've said that 4% we'll be turning over around $4 million in a very profitable manner. So that would see us profitable in year one at just 4% of the 5.8 million who move, and that's only with 10 transactions, 10 service providers.
Right.
The total market we feel is about $170 million. Now we wouldn't assume to get to the total market, but I certainly think that 40% of the market is more than achievable, and that's just Australia. The SmartMove application and the way SmartMove works can be operated anywhere in the world. So Australia, with just 26 million people and 5.8 million people who change their details as a minimum every year, the future for SmartMove internationally is extremely bright. Imagine the number of consumers in the UK. It's just it's 2 to 3 times us. The US is 3 to 4 times us. So the initial 4% that makes us profitable, I think our future is just enormous.
Amazing. Well, Phill, thank you so much for coming on for this interview and sharing wonderful insights about SmartMove and the work that your team is doing. For anyone who would like to get in touch with the company, please see the details at the side of the screen or in the description of the video. Again, thank you, Phill, for joining me for this interview.
And can I just say, we'd like to thank Wholesale Investor very much. This is our first ever foray. So this is our first release of SmartMove to the market. And we've been very happy. It's an excellent event and we're very pleased.
We're very glad to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Phill.